Hello, 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 hello. My name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel, Cool Claire ASMR. So, for today's video, I have a little vacation recap souvenir haul video for you. But before we get into that, I just want to give you like a life update. As you can see, I am back to my regular surroundings. My first travel nursing contract ended and I came back home. I'm currently looking for my next one, and yeah, just doing some traveling this summer, enjoying some time off. So yeah, I basically haven't posted in a month because I finished my contract, hurry up, packed up, deep cleaned my apartment, came back home, and then like immediately went on vacation for a week and a half. So it's been a busy, well, I guess it's a new month now, but the month of June was quite a busy one. So July, maybe a bit more restful, but you know how that goes. Anyway, this video, pause for a second here. I have my notes of all the things I want to show you and talk about, so let me just be very transparent about that. But anyway, what I wanted to say was this video is heavily inspired by Jeannie B ASMR, as she did a video recapping her and her husband's trip to Germany, where she just kind of like talked to the mic, showed like videos and pictures, and showed her souvenirs, like kind of how you would recap a vacation to a friend. And I really like that super chill style, so I wanted to do that for you. So anyway, let's get into it. Enough chit chat in a ramble video, but anyway. So I went to Colorado for, like I said, almost 2 weeks. I went with my mom, which was really fun. We went to Winter Park, Colorado. This trip had 3 different destinations, all in Colorado. The first part of the trip was in Winter Park, Colorado, which is typically like a little ski town, but in the summer, in the off season, it's also very cute for some nice hikes in the surrounding area. The little town's super cute, and actually I had been here before. The last time I was still in high school, so it has been like a good 7-8 years since I last went to Winter Park, and the town actually has like built up quite a bit. Like there's all this new construction, like they had more than one coffee shop. The last time I went there, it was like the cute little downtown, and that was it. So that was kind of crazy how much that had progressed. But anyway, the first thing I want to show you from my video clips is the view from our rental. We did like a Vrbo Airbnb thing, and you walk out right the door, and there's like a couple of trees, and then there's a beautiful view of the mountains, and there was also a beautiful view of the neighborhood tennis court. And I really wish we had brought our rackets, because I like to play tennis when it's not too hot, and in Winter Park it lives up to the name for sure, because it was like a nice 30 to 40 degrees in the morning, and it would get into the 70s during the day, so just like the perfect temperature range. But as you can see in my clip, I had a nice little granola breakfast going on. I had some soy yogurt, blueberries, strawberries, and granola, so it's a very picturesque breakfast for my picturesque breakfast view. The vibe of the Airbnb Vrbo itself was very ski lodge. which makes sense because it is a ski town. It is a ski town. The only thing really worth showing you in there is this super cute little ski collage that was on the wall. You know, I really enjoy making collages, and I just like collages as a art medium in itself. So I like to see that it was like very clearly handmade and not like digitally rendered, which I'm definitely like digital collages is great, but I'm team like handmade collage all the way. So that was kind of the living situation. And we were there for a week, and the main objectives were to hike, enjoy, you know, the great outdoors basically, and then just like enjoy the downtown area because, like I said, it is very cute. So one big hike that we went on was called Cascade Falls, and it actually is part of Rocky Mountain National Park. The park kind of swoops around the state of Colorado, in which it is in quite a large area. So this is like the very like bottom edge of Rocky Mountain National Park, I think. Like the main entrance to the park is in Estes Park, Colorado, so like an hour away or so. So it's very large anyway. So this was about a 7-mile hike, and this was the biggest hike that we did. My mom and I were definitely like, we just want to chill a little bit. But we did get out there and do this hike. This is one that I did on my previous trip to Winter Park, and it was actually kind of sad because since that trip, that part of the forest had been burned. There was a very large fire in 2020. Bad year for everyone, bad year for this forest. So as you can see from my clips here, you know, the trees are burnt, but there is some beautiful wildflowers and like little baby trees, and the brush greenery has recouped itself for sure. But I just want to share some beautiful views from this hike with you. First up, it's just a very peaceful stream of water right at the beginning of the hike in the meadow, and it's far enough away from the falls that it's just very gentle and very tranquil. So and then as you get closer, it gets a bit more intense. Here is a little bit of the falls by this bridge crossing over. And again, more river views. And then finally we made it to Cascade Falls, which the last time I was here, the falls were also much more gentle. They were much more gentle. But it was like a torrential downpour of water, quite turbulent. Turbulent falls more than a cascade, I would say. There was like water splashing off everywhere. My mom and I like had our little lunch by the falls, and it was nice. There were these giant mosquitoes, like, I don't know, they were just massive. So that was the main thing I remember from that actual part of the hike. But it is so beautiful, and it was kind of an overcast day, which was nice because we hiked for like 4 hours, and when we first started, it was like ice cold. Like my hands were freezing. She ever so graciously gave me her gloves. You know, I'll show you some pictures, but I'm wearing like I can't even think of the term right now, but I'm wearing long hike pants, a beanie, gloves, and then like a button shirt that's pretty heavy, and then later I'm like wearing my shorts and shirt. But we brought a change of clothes because we knew that was going to happen, because that is the general vibe of the weather every day in Winter Park. But it's kind of crazy. So yeah, that was the one big hike we did, which would have been much more beautiful if the whole forest hadn't been burnt out, but you know, what can you do, right? And then our last, so that day, the hike is actually about almost an hour away from Winter Park. So after we had a beautiful drive back, as you can see, beautiful lake and mountain views. Driving in Colorado is just so amazing because there's beautiful views everywhere. Unless driving in the mountain roads can be terrifying, but we avoided those for sure. But we went to one of the little towns on the way back, right by this hike called Grand Lake, and did some shopping. And yeah, that was fun. I think how I'm gonna show my souvenirs is like from each part of the trip. So I'll show all the Winter Park and Winter Park adjacent town stuff at the same time. Let's see what else. Oh, I forgot to mention something very important from our hike that day is we saw a moose, which was cool because it was on our way back and it was about like almost 1 o'clock at that point. We hiked from like 8 to like 10 till 8 till like 12:30 because, you know, we took our time, took pictures, took videos, you know, I'm filming all the things. But anyway, I was like, oh, we should have came earlier if we wanted to see a moose. Like, we're not going to see anything. It's getting hot. But no, in the meadow where the first video clip was from, there was a moose very far, but it was very far away, as you can see from the quality of my video. But it was exciting because I think that was my first time seeing a moose in real life, in person, even if it was a tiny little spot in the distance. So that was cool. And then let's see. The last thing I want to talk about from our time in Winter Park is a cute little hike we did. I believe it was called Elk Meadows, and it was like more in town. So Winter Park is very close to another town called Fraser. Like, you just drive through and it just becomes the other town, one of those sort of situations. So anyway, kind of out in the country roads in Fraser was this hike. But again, just beautiful mountain views everywhere. As you can see, some animal friends had been around this morning as there was some tracks in the mud, and then the meadow itself is what I was filming there. And then just like the mountain view on the way back was spectacular, because going in we were just kind of like going into the woods, and there was some nice like mountain biking is everywhere, so some mountain biking trails and just like running trails, and there's all these little trails nestled in on this hike, but we just stayed on the Elk Meadow one, so it was just kind of going into the woods on the way up, and then on the way back it was a beautiful mountain view. And as you can see from my clip, I kind of caught a rainbow, so that's why I kind of like go forward and then come back, because I noticed that I had caught a rainbow, so I wanted to show that. But it was a nice little hike. So let's see. Yeah, so that's really all the footage that I would like to share from Winter Park. But let's get into some souvenirs. So I have this nice little bag here, and this has almost all my Winter Park hauls. Okay. And as you can see, one of the shops was Altitude Jewelry, appropriately named since Winter Park is like 9,000 feet above sea level. Yeah. Altitude sickness is real. I didn't get this time, but the last time I was up in the mountains like that, I definitely had something going on. Anyway. There's a extra bonus for another part of the video here. Okay. So what I got in Winter Park was earrings. Yay! Okay. So some of these, like these ones I'm gonna show, are from the shopping in Grand Lake, actually. But you know, it's all the same general area. So I got those, which it's kind of like super hard to tell what's going on with these earrings. I don't know if this will make any noise, but I just want to see. But I will try them on for you so you can kind of see. I was like, I don't fully know what's going on with these, but they were on sale and I like the circles, but then I realized that's how you wear them. And then I really like them, so yes. I don't know what that was about. I'm in a mood for sure. It is almost the 4th of July and there were so many fireworks going off, so I did my makeup trying to like stall getting ready, and I'm out of fake lashes right now, hence my sad real lashes that never wanna, they're fine actually, but they never wanna curl up. And after getting used to wearing false lashes, I'm like, where's my lashes at? Oh yeah, they're really short. But anyway, I don't remember what I was saying at all. Oh, that I'm in kind of a mood because of the fireworks. I feel like they distract my brain a little bit, but it has finally stopped. So I am pleased. But anyway, those are those earrings. And I absolutely love them. And then from the same seller in Grand Lake, I got these. I have some extra earrings in here. These are from Ana Luisa. They're not new from this trip, but I didn't want to lose them, so I put them in with the rest of the earrings that I had on vacation with me. Anyway, the other pair I got at this shop were these sweet little hearts. If you know me, you know I'm a sucker for anything that's hearts, so she had a few, but I like these with the little man-made opals. Very beautiful. I guess I can try them on, but I think you can imagine what these look like a little bit more so than the others, but you know, why not? So there's that one. I'm not gonna put them both in because it's a pain to fidget with them. Okay, there we go. So that is that. And honestly, I can put those together. All right, and then got a receipt. All the receipts. And then these I actually got at the Altitude Jewelry in Winter Park. Okay, and these were the first thing I got for Souvenir I got on the whole vacation. And they're these super sweet, I just sneezed, sorry. Anyway, what I was saying is these are these super sweet little moon earrings. How precious are those? I am like so loving this cute little moon here. And the only thing about these that I realize is the hook of the crescent moon gets, my hair gets caught in it. So that's a thing that happens, but otherwise they are precious and I love them. And yeah. And then I made a drawing. Well, I had already started a drawing that had a little crescent moon face like this when I was still in my travel nurse assignment, and then I finished it on vacation. But anyway, I was like, oh, I had drawn this. I need these earrings. And then the last thing I got is actually a souvenir for a friend. This is the only souvenir I bought for anyone. I'm a bad friend this time around. But I just was like, I'll buy something if I feel like someone will really love it instead of just like buying stuff to buy it. Anyway, these precious little tent earrings. My friend that I bought these for loves to camp, and she actually camps in her RV with her family, but I just thought those were precious. She also loves earrings. So it just felt right. So I have those for her. And that was all my souvenirs from Winter Park. So let's talk about the second leg of the trip was to Estes Park, Colorado. And the main event for this part of the trip was to go to the Stanley Museum that Stephen King based The Shining off of. And the Shining movie wasn't filmed there, but I learned that the Shining miniseries was filmed there. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, the first day we got there, we did a nice little, so around Estes Lake, there is like a 4-mile walking path, like a loop. So we did the loop the first day, and it is so, it is so beautiful right on the water for a good part of it, and just like absolute beautiful views of the mountains. And like I was saying earlier, Rocky Mountain National Park, like the main part of the park is in this town, and like you can tell because the mountains are just like right there and they're so beautiful. And in June they still have a little snow on them, so that looks very nice. Stepped right into a Bob Ross painting, if you will. All the happy little mountains and happy little trees were there. But anyway, we did a nice loop walk, and as you can see from the sign here, it says, warning, aggressive elk in area. The path was closed, but all the people proceeded to walk down the closed path, so we were just kind of like, hopefully we don't get mauled by a crazy elk. And my mom had been to Estes before. This was my first time here, and she was telling me about how the elk are everywhere. They're like squirrels. Well, they weren't, I guess, because it's mating season. That's also probably why they're aggressive. But anyway, we saw one elk, and here she is. She is going to the restroom. I have a talent for catching animals when they need to, urinate. There's a picture of me with a cow, and it looks like the cow is peeing in my hand. But anyway, I caught her in a bad moment, but it's kind of funny. A very picturesque pee. And yeah, that is the one elk we saw in Estes Park on our little loop walk the first day. I think that was really it for the first day. We just kind of did the walk, went to dinner, and that was that. The next day was the big day to go see the Stanley, but first we did a little exploring. So the same loop around Estes Lake also has a river walk that goes into town. So we wanted to get a coffee and just kind of explore town some more, like I said. So we went on the river walk, which was awesome. Of course, as the name entails, it's right on the river. I just really enjoy like being by running water in this sense, and that's why like every clip I took on the trip was of like some sort of body of water I noticed. But I think there's something very inherently tranquil about water moving, so I think I thought that it might just lend into the ASMR of it all. But anyway, on this river walk they had like tunnels, and on this particular one it had all these hand-painted tiles, I guess from the community, and I thought that was really cool. Any sort of like community sourced art like that is very nice. Like everyone has a little piece in how the town's decorated, and I think that's very sweet. I did find a tile that said cool on it, so I filmed that to show you. But anyway, we took a walk on the river walk and stumbled across a Scandinavian midsummer festival. So that was cool. It felt extremely random because I had never seen this festival before, but you know, for people that this is a thing for them, it probably wouldn't feel as random. But anyway, we walked up and they were raising the maypole like right as we walked up, so like the big opening ceremony, so I filmed that, so I will show that to you now. There were so many people all gathered around, and it was very, very windy, as you might be able to tell from the video. And they were like, oh, so it might fall over, like watch out. And then the person was like, just kidding, an engineer designed this. I'm like, okay. I was standing up on like some built-in concrete benches in the back of this park, so I wasn't like blocking anyone, but that's so I could get a good view for you all. But anyway, all these people carried the pole out, lifted up, and everyone was like, yeah. So that was cool. It was really beautiful, covered in flowers, and they were just talking about how midsummer is a pagan holiday for springtime, of course, and the symbol of the maypole was just about fertility, things like that, which makes sense because spring and new life and whatever. And then they were just kind of talking about how the cross, you know, is a Christian symbol now, and just kind of like the relationship between like pagan symbols becoming Christian symbols. And I just thought that was interesting. But anyway, another cool part of that ceremony is they had a woman that sang every national anthem for each country in the language. So they sang the Star Spangled Banner and then proceeded to sing every other song. So we were kind of standing there and we're like, okay, this is gonna go on for a while. So we walked through the fair, and it was just kind of your typical outdoor event. Like everyone has their little tents, some have food, most have like crafts and stuff like that. There was a lot of cool stuff. I didn't end up getting anything from the festival itself. I did like these hats. The Yeti one in particular is very cute, and also this little black bear. Always a sucker for anything bear themed because I've been called Claire Bear my whole life by various people. But anyway, they were made of wool, so too itchy for me. So I did not even look at the price, but I'm sure they were expensive. But it's okay because it's handmade and people can charge whatever they want for their hard work. Anyway, so after perusing the festival, we went into town, and most of the shops are, you know, your typical like touristy town shops, like with t-shirts and everything that says Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado and this and that, and that's great and fine and wonderful. But I have all my super cheesy Colorado merch from previous trips, so I was trying to find more unique things. But I did get some cheesy stuff, and I yeah, I keep wanting to show you things, but I should wait. Anyway, so yeah, shopped around, bought some stuff that I will show you. And then we went back. We were staying in I forgot to mention, we were staying in a cabin this time around. And the theme of the cabin was bears and how they will kill you. I'm not joking. Let me show you this wall. That literally says, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except bears. They will kill you. So they were really driving home the bears will kill you theme. And I have to tell you something kind of funny. And this might be an embarrassing story to share, but it's too funny to not. And also it's sleeping themed, so it's appropriate for this ASMR video. But anyway, maybe I'll just whisper it to you because it's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, it was a very small cabin with one bed, so my mom and I had to share a bed, which is fine and whatever. But anyway, she snores, and I am aware of this, and it's not a big deal. Like, it doesn't keep me up or anything. But my unconscious sleepy mind did hear her snoring, and I had a dream that a bear was coming through the front door, and I could hear it growling. And when the bear came in the front door in my dream, I woke up, and the growling in my dream was my mom snoring. So the combination of my mom snoring and the aggressive bear-themed decorations in the cabin gave me quite a vivid dream of almost being mauled to death by a bear. And that's my story. And I told her about it, and we had a good laugh. And yeah, I just needed to put that out there. So anyway, we ate, whatever. And then it was time for the main event, going to the Stanley. Originally, we had wanted to stay there, but no surprise, it is very expensive to stay in this historic and famous hotel. And it was fine for one night, but over the weekend in which we were there, over a weekend, they make you stay for 2 nights at minimum, and that just wasn't financially in the cards, like, making sense. So we opted to just do a tour, and we did the Shining tour, and I picked that one because I want to go because of the Shining, but also it seemed like a good mix between, like, historic Shining and, like, the ghost story aspect of it. And it was a wonderful tour. Unfortunately, you can't like film on the tour at all, so I just have a few pictures I want to show you. But the hotel is so beautiful. I will insert a clip of the outside. It is so beautiful. There's a beautiful view of the mountains just opposite to the hotel. And the tour guide did claim, like, this is the best view in Estes. But honestly, like, outside of the national park, of course. And honestly, I think it's true. It's very beautiful. And then also, like I was saying earlier, I learned that there was a Shining miniseries. And they actually had a dollhouse version of the hotel from the miniseries on display there. But in our tour, we learned that Stephen King hates The Shining movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, because he kind of just changed it a bunch and he didn't like that, which makes sense. And yeah, the room, basically the hotel was closed, and Stephen King and his wife, I don't know, like the hotel they were meant to stay in, like, wasn't a thing. I don't know, something happened. But anyway, they ended up there and they felt bad for them, so they let them stay, and I guess the hotel was, like, really struggling. And then, yeah, Stephen King wrote his book and saved the hotel, so that's pretty cool. A lesson in be kind to strangers, because they could be famous authors that are going to save your hotel from, closing forever. So anyway, but yeah, she showed us lots of ghost sighting pictures. And there was one of like a little girl's face in the tunnels below the hotel that was the same face of a friend of people that had lived there, and she was like on the wall, so they were like, no one knows who this girl is, but here she is, and here she is. Anyway, creepy ghost stuff, but it was fun. It's all fun. But the energy there definitely was like very heavy. Maybe it's just the thin mountain air, but we had been in Colorado for over a week at this point, so I felt pretty acclimated. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, let me show you. They had built like a whole like shining room, so they had actually one of the axes from the movie on display in a vault, which was very intense and kind of funny. But I mean, I get it, it's a valuable movie prop. And then they also created a recreation of the bathroom from the movie. So here I am in the tub. And the bathroom was like gross on purpose. Like there was like some rust in the sink, and like the bathtub inside was like dirty or whatever, but it was just like painted to look dirty. And everyone else on the tour was like, ooh, that's gross. Like, you know, because she was like, you can get in the bathtub if you want. And I'm like, everyone's like, oh no, like, I'm not gonna get in the bathtub. I'm like, I'm getting in the bathtub. This is why I wanted to do this tour. So yeah, I got in the bathtub, and everyone else was too grossed out to do it. But yeah, I thought that was funny. So, and then they had like with the cutout door from a film festival, and so I put my face in and did my little here's Johnny moment. So all the cheesy shiny theme things and picture ops were to be had. They did have twins, but like the little twin cutout you could do as seen in this picture here. But at this point my mom was having like a coughing attack because of the old house, I guess, so we did not get that picture because she was otherwise preoccupied. So I just took a picture of the standee, but also fun. So that was that, and then we went to the gift shop, which was, I don't know what I want to say here. It had a nice varietal. I really enjoyed the gift shop in the Stanley Museum. Bought some things, of course, and yeah, that was that for Etsy. That was that for Estes. So we can go through everything really quick here. So the first thing, and I actually got these postcards in Winter Park. I realized that I forgot to show them to you. So one is, we finally found a place we could afford, Colorado. And I wanted to send some postcards to friends while we were out there. But then I wanted to show them to you for this video, so now that I'm filming it, I'm gonna send my postcards. And then I got this one, Room with a View, with this very picturesque outhouse. And I actually like outhouse imagery in beautiful settings. It's a whole genre of photography, if you didn't know. I actually had a calendar that was outhouses. Last year, my 2022 calendar was outhouses, and they were all pictures like this of outhouses in the most beautiful landscape you've ever seen. And yeah, so that was niche to my tastes. And then from our little romp around Estes, I got a couple things. First thing I got was this reusable bag with Smokey the Bear all over it. And I love Smokey the Bear. I think he is a icon of fire safety, and I like Smokey the Bear enough that I've dressed up as him for Halloween twice, once regular and once sexy the Smokey the Bear. So I'm trying to make an effort to not buy clothes, or at least new clothes, because I have so many and I don't need any more. But anyway, there were lots of cool Smokey the Bear shirts that I resisted, but the reusable bag I can actually use, because one of the bags I was using for my grocery shopping developed a hole, so here's the replacement. But there are so many cute pictures on here. So we have him, you know, hiking and pointing and, oh gosh, driving a car and looking really proud of himself there, and reading some fan mail and sleeping. Smokey the Bear is coming for Sleepy Time Tea Bear's job and hanging out in the woods. And it's the same on both sides, so you've seen it now. But yeah, that was wonderful and I had to have it, so there we go. And then the other thing I got is the most adorable print in the world. And let me take it out of here because I know the glare is going to be substantial. But it is a print of a watercolor painting originally. And it is a super sweet painting of a blue dragon with a little fox riding on it and all these trees and the moon. And I just thought that was the sweetest little painting I ever saw. There's just something so delicately beautiful about their little faces, are so cute, and just like the touches of gold. And yeah, how the dragon is outlined in gold is so sweet, and just like the way that she painted the trees. And down here it says, a furry rider. And I do know the artist, not off the top of my head, and I wish I would have, oh, maybe I wrote it down? No. Why would I do that? But I did screenshot her name because I wanted to tell you. I will put it in the description because this artist does have an Etsy shop if you are interested in this style of art. I don't think she had this specific print, but she had very cute stuff. She likes her foxes and dragons. She also had some fairy stuff. So yeah, this was the sweetest little thing that I've ever seen. So I'm a sucker for a good art print. There you go. And then last but not least, for souvenirs, I have what I got at the Stanley. We'll start with the most random thing. I got a new pair of sunglasses. So I got these pink rectangle frame sunglasses with pink frames. I wore them today and they do not do a very good job of blocking the sun, so they're definitely more just you know, a vibe. They're just a vibe. But they have a golden V on each side, and this is what they look like on me. I don't really know if they look good or not, but I like the way they make me feel, so there we go. So yeah, my new sunglasses from the Stanley Museum of all places. But when I brought them to the checkout, the lady was like, aren't those just the coolest? And I was like, honestly, yes. Like, you might just be saying that to make me certain of my purchase, but I believe it. And then I got another postcard. So, of the hotel itself. And then in very small lettering it says, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy," which is the thing that the character in this, why can't I think of anybody's names right now, of Jack Torrance, Jesus, is the phrase that Jack Torrance types on his typewriter over and over and over and over again while he's supposed to be writing a novel, but he's just writing that. So there you go. But I thought that was nice. I realized it got a little bit. And then the little thing that I pulled out of the earring bag earlier was actually this Stanley Hotel coin, which they gave you when we paid for parking. Apparently you can get like a free drink or something with this, but we kept it. On the back is the axe. It says 217, which is the haunted room with the carpet pattern in the back as well. And then it says 2023, so that was a cool little bonus. And then my receipt. Two more things. I got a Shining bookmark, which also feels right. And then it has a little factoid on the back, so I'll read that to you. It says, "The Stanley Hotel was the inspiration for Stephen King's novel, The Shining. He later sold the film rights to Stanley Kubrick. Big mistake. Who filmed the Jack Nicholson version at the Timberland Lodge in Mount Hood, Oregon in 1980. It did not follow the book, so King returned to Estes Park in 1996 for the filming of the ABC miniseries The Shining. This version was written and produced by Stephen King and shot on location in the Stanley Hotel." Oh, and another thing that they told us on the tour, oh my gosh, there's a huge spider on the ceiling in my room right now. But anyway, another thing that they told us on the tour is when Stephen King came to film his little miniseries, the lobby of the Stanley was like super white, bright, beautiful. So he was like, no. This is too like welcoming. So he made them paint the lobby like super dark colors and super like spooky, and then made them sign a contract to keep it like that as long as The Shining was relevant and popular. So they were like, so our lobby will be like that forever. So I thought that was kind of funny too. Oh, I don't know if I actually showed that to you or not. So it just has the hotel and then it says The Shining. And oh my god, the spider is crawling. Okay. Oh, and red rum. And the last thing is a pen. And it's just the Stanley. And I collect pens, so it felt like I should add this one to my collection because I have several just Colorado ones. But this one is a location specific, so yeah, that was that. So that's the end of my souvenir haul altogether. But there are a few more things I want to show you because we did stop for a couple days in Denver before heading back home. So really the main thing I want to talk about in Denver is the Denver Art Museum. I had not been there in a long time as well, even though I've been back to Denver the past 2 summers. This was the first time going to the art museum in a long time, and we kind of did the quick version of it because we were very tired from traveling. So we saw an exhibit about like calligraphy and like that sort of thing, Japanese calligraphy, specifically by women, which I thought was cool. It was called Her Brush was what the exhibit was called, and it featured all sorts of different Japanese artists and poets and things like that, and it had their scrolls on the wall. So there was a nice little ancient painting of a turtle several turtles actually, so I took a picture of that to show you. Let's see. Oh, also they had an interactive part of this exhibit where you could like draw your own brush strokes, but it didn't work very well. So in the video you can see me struggling to get to work, and my mom got to work before me, so you can see that too. But it kind of worked. Kind of cool. Alright, let's see. There was a oceanic themed exhibit in which I didn't read anything, but I did see this jellyfish flower made of flowers, which I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be or not, but that's what it looks like to me, and I just thought it was cool because I like art that's made of flowers. So I wanted to show that to you. And then after that, we went to the contemporary art wing because the most interesting art is usually in the contemporary art wing, in the sense of you look at it and you're like, and then you read the description and you're like, oh, okay. Because with a lot of, some older art, you are like, oh, wow, like, okay. There was one, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it, because my mom bought a card with it on it, so maybe I'll insert a clip here. But it was a painting, and at first it looks like, oh, this is like a painting of a demon and, like something whatever, but then you realize like he's very emotional, and then when you read it, it's actually about like circus performers who their child was injured in a performance, and apparently this is something that really happened in France, that the painter recreated the scene. So it was like the mom and the dad all like in his performance makeup, like in tears, and that was really cool from the more like oil painting traditional art wing. But anyway, back to the contemporary. We have Angelic Troublemakers. And this piece is by Nari Ward, and it is made of shoestrings. It's made of shoestrings, which I think is pretty interesting material for art. And then let's see, we have a untitled piece by Daisy Patton, but the parenthesis title is Family Portrait on the Rocks, and that is exactly what it is. And I liked this one because it has a collage feel with it, with the family portrait being cut out onto the painted canvas. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we have quite a mesmerizing video, and I do not have the artist because I was so mesmerized by this video of fabric floating through the air. So I would just like you to enjoy the visuals because I think they are very conducive to ASMR. And then I have a photorealistic painting, but a very red tone. It is by Mark Tansey. It's called About Time, but I just have About written down. Anyway, the artist is Mark Tansey, and apparently he's quite famous for these sort of photorealistic paintings, and something that I found interesting from the little descriptive blurb is that you can view the painting upside down, and like either way is acceptable. So it looks like the people are like floating upside down or like climbing on the bridge upside down, but then of course there's already one person that's upside down in the center of the painting, so I thought that was cool. And the red tone, I don't know why this painting reminds me of like a horror video game, because a lot of those are very nature-based for some reason. So it reminded me of that. That's what I thought of. And then I also got to see a Keith Haring piece that I'd never seen before. They didn't have it on display, and this time they did, so I was very pleased to see it. This piece is called Altar, and it is a altar with his hieroglyphics, if you will, on them, and I thought that was very cool. One thing I admire about Keith Haring is his various exploration of different mediums and building sculptures like this. And last but not least, the self-described sculpture garden that had one sculpture, but this museum just renovated itself, so maybe that's why they didn't have much out there. But it was just these concrete chairs with hands and torsos molded into it, and there wasn't any signs that said you can't sit in them, so I sat in them. So I'm sorry if I broke a rule, but pretty cool. And yeah, that is my Colorado trip in a nutshell, basically. And hopefully you enjoyed my vacation rambles. But I want to thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.